Today is a beautiful day and we're talking baseball. Welcome everyone, I'm Hugo. This is Signs of the Pastime and today is February 14th. You know what that means. Pitchers and catchers report today. That's right, a new season is upon us. Spring training is about to start. Love is in the air. And what love am I talking about? Love of baseball and spring training. So what am I doing at a football stadium? Well, before Raymond James was here, this was the site of Al Lopez Field. So lots of baseball was played right here. And one of the teams that trained here for spring training were the Cincinnati Reds. We're talking about Reds like big red machine Reds. Many of the all-time greats played right here. Guys that as baseball fans, we all love. And being that today is a day of love, I got a love poem for you. Pete Rose was a Red. Johnny Bench was 2. I have his second year card and it's graded a 2. Now, we'll talk about the grade later, but I wanted to bring this card out today with me because this right here is one that is going to commemorate this special day of pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training. This card is very popular. It's very well known in the hobby. Probably most of you guys watching have this card in your collection. Now, besides the obvious that it's a beautiful card of a Hall of Famer, for me, it means more than that. See, when I look at this card, I know that this photo of Bench was taken right here at Al Lopez Field during spring training. And I love spring training. Of course, now that I live in Florida, I get to watch it, but it wasn't always the case. I grew up in Rhode Island when this time of year, it was very cold. You couldn't play baseball, but I knew they were playing baseball in Florida. And I used to dream about being down here watching these guys play. And I remember when I was in 7th grade and I was trying out for the baseball team in March while spring training was going on. There was this kid, Brian, on the team that had just come back from Florida. And he spent a whole week here. And, you know, he was just raving about spring training and how he met guys and got autographs. And I was so jealous. I was so jealous of this guy, Brian. So I went up to him and I was like, dude, what was it like? And he's just like, bro, who are you? No, that's not true. No, he told the whole team all about it. And ever since then, I just wanted to experience spring training. And then my senior year, I moved to Florida and I've been going to spring training games ever since. And that's why I love it so much. And that's why cards that have pictures of spring training games or practice, I just love, because I used to look at those cards as a kid and I used to dream about watching it for myself in person. Now there's a lot more to this card that I love. See a young Johnny Bench there, of course a catcher for the Reds. And it's quite possible that this photo was taken on the day the catchers and pitchers reported to spring training. Something else that I like, if you look closely, there's probably a nasty glare, so I'll have to replace the image with just a stock photo so you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'd like to see what's going on behind Johnny. And there aren't any players to identify or anything like that. But behind him is the home run fence, which was right here. The left field wall was right there. So Johnny was somewhere around here when this photo was taken. But as you can see, right there on the fence, right above his head, there's an advertisement of a place that I'm familiar with because I drive by it all the time here in Tampa. And it's called the Village Inn Pancake House. And on the third line there, it says, "We never close." And it's true. They've never closed. They've been open since 1961, still by the original family. And that's what inspired this video. And we're heading there right now. We're gonna grab a meal and we're just gonna enjoy it and we're gonna eat with our friend, Johnny Bench. So let's go. On the way to the Village Inn, I wanna talk about another Johnny Bench card that features an advertisement behind him. And that's his 1968 Topps rookie card. And behind him there is an advertisement for Embers Imperial House right here on the same street, Dale Mabry in Tampa. Now, Embers has been gone for many years. It was demolished and now a hotel sits on that property. Right, we made it to the Village Inn Pancake House. I think that's the original sign. Same colors and everything. Sweet and savory stacks. Sounds like a plan. Stadium's right down the street. Dale Mabry. This is the original building. So let's go inside, grab a bite. Here we are inside the Village Inn for breakfast to go with the theme of a good 2. I'm gonna go with the 2-2-2 breakfast. What do you think, Johnny? Everything looks good, and now you see the card up close and personal, and that's also graded good. Graded 2. What do you guys think? Is it undergraded? Let me know in the comments. I think it is undergraded, but you know what? I'm totally fine with it. I don't care about the grade. I just wanted this exact copy of this card. I think it's beautiful. It has great eye appeal. I mean, check out that centering. It's so hard to find this card this well centered. Shout out to my boy Dylan for inspiring me to just go after centered cards in low grade like this, because I do enjoy it more. I mean, look at the back of this thing. It's so clean. Talking about clean, my friend Drew at Clean Cheap Shots recently bought this card in a 7, and it's a beauty, and it really made me want a clean copy. So here's mine, Drew. I found one. So thanks a lot, man. And also another Drew, the Drew at Vintage Legacy. He has been giving me some advice recently. We're talking about cards that we want in our collection, and you know, I want cards like this, and I was just spending all my hobby budget on cards that, although were good, they weren't on this level of what I want. So thanks, Drew, for really helping me out, and yeah, got the one I wanted. And also I won a contest recently from Picker Jim S, so thank you, Jim. It helped get this card. Can you tell I didn't enjoy the food? No, I loved it. Well, if you're wondering what's wrong with the card, right by his knee and the trophy, there are a couple of small wrinkles right on the surface, and it's hard to tell. I guess that's why it's a 2. But either way, I love this Grapefruit League Classic right next to my grapefruit juice. It's a card that I'll love for many years. Well, I hear the pies are good, and it is Wednesday, so I get a free slice of pie. What a deal. This place is great, and the staff is very friendly. They're all-stars and Hall of Famers in my book, just like Johnny. If you're in town, you gotta check them out. And on this day that pitchers and catchers report to spring training, and his Valentine's Day, also happens to be Dow Sherwood Day. And he's the original owner of this franchise that opened back in 1961. This talks about just some of the things that Mr. Sherwood was involved in addition to running his restaurant. 3 generations of the Sherwood family have continued to run and operate this very location, and they continue the same traditions and values that Mr. Dow Sherwood began back in 1961. Today would have been his 100th birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Sherwood. There are Mr. and Mrs. Sherwood, the founders of this Village Inn. There's an original menu right there. And you know, just looking at all these things on the wall and seeing how much history is here at this location just makes me think of how many fans were at the Al Lopez Field and saw that advertisement on the outfield wall and said, you know what, I want to go get a stack of pancakes at the Village Inn. Maybe even some players, maybe even Johnny Bench himself came through those doors and read this advice here by Mr. Sherwood on the wall and was blessed by it. Because I know it's blessed me. This place here has been a staple in the community since 1961. This is what it looked like back when it opened. Although it's been renovated a little bit, the charm and love still remains. And so do the delicious pies. Another great thing that the Sherwood family did was to get that advertisement on the outfield wall at the Al Lopez Field. It is now part of baseball card history forever. And what an ad! It's still getting fans like me through the door after all these years. Dow Sherwood liked to use the line, "Would you like to see my pride and joy?" A phrase that preceded the reveal of a card. Would you like to see my pride and joy?